Welcome back to the Healthy Business Podcast. I'm Ty King with American Business Engine, and with me as always,
Jessica Dolliver with Cam Collaborative.
How are you?
Great.
You're great. A little too much enthusiasm. That's how I know there's something else below the surface. Your thumb is taped up.
Yeah.
And you stayed up late last night figuring out problems.
Oh, that's the euphemism for drinking too much.
Okay.
When I say solving the
Figuring
problems.
things out. Yeah, I've heard that. It's like one of those sayings that other people say. Yeah. I was like, how do I put this?
Start getting to feeling our oats
yes.
and start talking about everything that doesn't matter, and then we're like,
right.
yeah, and then it's 1 a.m. We're like, ooh.
Yeah, solve that problem. Yeah. Sleep, that was the problem.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. Well, how about your thumb? Is it all right?
Yeah, it's
good?
I had a treatment on it and it hurts, and now it's better, but this makes it even better.
Okay. Awesome. Well, good. You don't realize. I mean, I didn't realize. You do, because you do this for a living, and you went to school for it, and you teach other people how to get their license in it. Mm-hmm. So I had an issue with like my foot, and like I was hobbling around. Mm-hmm. Like it started in my heel, and then like worked its way up to the ball of my foot, where it felt like it was like a bruised heel. And I've never had that before in my life, and I was like, I guess this is what it feels like. And I was like, I have to let it heal. But I was like, I can't stop, so I can't just lay up, on the couch or on the bed or anything and just let this thing heal, because I've got a million other things I have to do and go be at. So it's like I'm still just doing the regular things, and it'll eventually heal, probably a little bit slower than usual. But it got to the point to where like my calf was locking up, and I was just like, it's like a peg leg, and Tara was like, "What's wrong with your leg?" And I was like, "I don't know. It's just started like that." Anyways, she just massaged it out from the heel of my foot, the ball of my foot, to my calf and stuff, and then just like, oh, feels better. And I guess it just got, I don't know.
Yeah, you just got some little inflammation and some tension into your calf and Achilles, and started the beginnings of some plantar fasciitis, which you headed off before it became a big deal. So good for her.
Good deal. So it can get worse.
Yes.
Okay, great. Well,
the same way it worked up to your calf,
yeah,
it keeps on going.
Oh, wow. Great. Well, I'm glad we didn't let that go any further.
Yep.
So it's important to take care of your bodies, everybody.
You only have one, and I say your warranty expires at 40, and then after that, it's all aftermarket parts from overseas.
But I'm always the type where I'm like, I'm invincible and I'm unstoppable and I can't stop. So, like, I have to keep going no matter what. And so, it's hard for me to stop and actually admit that I need to do something.
You're not alone. It's called everyone. We need to the bar.
Everyone. We're all invincible. Okay, so today I wanted to talk about, so there's two things on my mind, right? Okay. But they're both very connected.
Good.
Because they're very similar.
All right.
And they're topical, they are seasonal, and they are quickly approaching.
All right.
It's like even when this episode posts, will be 1 week closer, so like 3 weeks away. So
Halloween.
Yes, Halloween. So we're going to talk about Halloween.
Excellent.
I don't know, that's kind of your season.
I love Halloween.
I love Halloween too, because I've just got a darker affinity than most people, and like Nightmare Before Christmas and that type of stuff, that's definitely my thing. It's so weird being able to go in pretty much any store in the world now and see Jack Skellington. When I was in love with it in 1994, and you could not find anything with Nightmare Before Christmas on it. But anyways, now it's everywhere. So I want to talk about like when you're running your business, and I've been approached by several different organizations already, right? Everybody's having either a trunk or treat or a fall festival if they don't want to directly support Halloween, but they want to have something that gives kids candy on a certain holiday of the year in October. Not the same thing at all, right? Yeah. So anyways, fall festivals, trunk or treats, sponsoring different kinds of just events around based on Halloween. You can even sponsor a haunted house if you wanted to. But been asked a lot about like trunk or treats. That's been like especially big. I think that's a pretty common one in Arkansas though, right? So
it's growing everywhere.
Yeah. So especially during COVID. Like during COVID, we had drive-through trunk or treats in most parks. They would open it up, and people would just be standing on the side. We drive through the drive-through parks, and you stop, roll down the window, and they hand you it through the window and put it in your bag, and you go. So they don't have the direct contact, in-person type of thing. Definitely not going door to doors and all those stuff. But last year, I think it was back back to open, everybody was pretty much going to houses. We had a lot of fun. My new neighborhood. That's where we moved into our new house, and we were able to move around. And it gave me some ideas for like this year what I could do as a business, because I love Halloween, like I said. And I want to do something fun for the business. Is it directly going to get me a lot of business? Probably not.
Well, to that point, most of your marketing is not. The marketing of yesteryear, when you had your 2.5-page ad copy and you took out a page in the yellow pages and you did all that worked. Nowadays, it's about getting the customer to look at you as special and have that connection. Like this business and I have similar goals and similar things, and so I'm going to give them my money. And for small businesses, that is the biggest part of your investment in advertising, is just getting people to like you.
Sure. And so, wanted to get some ideas for you. How do you be a business and do things for the kids on Halloween? Be a kid yourself, because that's it's not a real I'm super adult and now I'm into Halloween. It carries on from your childhood or whatever, you know what I mean? Or some people never got to trick or treat, now they're carrying it down their adulthood, right? So if you just like it, right? You want to support in some way in Halloween or Fall Fest or whatever, and you want to be a part of these, either sponsorships or holding an event yourself. Like, what are some of the suggestions that you do?
Well, it really depends on number one, your business, but the type of business you have. But it also depends a lot about how your business is located. Like, you don't really have, outside of here, you don't have a brick and mortar. And a lot of businesses are online. So that is going to be a completely different answer than someone who's operating in a strip mall.
Right.
So that's a multifaceted question.
Sure.
I love when businesses have especially if there's lots of businesses, like our building has a little business sponsor trick-or-treat thing. And I think that's fun because it's not kid-oriented here in this building because it's mostly adults, but it's still just kind of reminding you of your childhood. I don't know that businesses really need to target the kids unless it's a kid-targeted audience. I think that you can just target the kid in you.
Yeah. And
so, to that point, bringing it back to the adults and saying, hey, here's a way to just remember that we're all got little kids outside of us still. And so we can be a little silly and we can be a little fun. Several of my customers and my clients at their businesses, the entire company will dress up.
Okay.
When it was just me, it was just a weird person wearing a costume.
Sure.
I have people now, so we're going to dress up this year. And that's going to be fun for us. So, in my opinion, leveraging Halloween is more about company culture than it is about trying to get more business.
Sure. I think it also differs, and like you said, this is multifaceted. It also differs in the size of your company. Are you just a 1 or 2 man operation, or are you an actual like I've had clients that had multiple locations, and they would have a costume contest on that day. You know what I mean? Just to have fun in their office and that type of thing.
Or a baking contest, desserts or something.
If you're working from home and you're running your own business out of your home office,
you go in the kitchen and bake a pie. You just baked a pie.
Yeah, you just baked a pie.
There's nothing special about that.
So I think for them, I think that's a good opportunity. Well, I mean, I don't know. Is it a good opportunity for them to sponsor like the trunk or treat type of thing, where you pull up okay, so it makes sense for certain businesses. I'll just give a couple examples here. So I've done it before and pulled up my personal car, decorated the trunk, you know what I mean, spider webs and the lights and all that stuff coming out of it, and handing out candy as kids were just passing through. One of the this year my wife is organizing one of the fall festival things in Conway, and so she's trying to get more trunk or treater or trunk or treat sponsored by companies. Anyways, one of them is a moving truck company, so they're turning their moving truck into like a haunted house on the inside. That's awesome. Yeah, right. I'm excited about that. I was like, that's a great idea, because I mean, you're basically just traveling around with this feature that people can walk around in. Great.
I think it's going to depend a lot. Well, to specifically talk to the trunk or treat, that actually began before COVID, and my oldest is 13 now, and I first learned of it when I had this little. I wasn't one of those people that are like, hey, I want kids. I was like, oh my God, I'm pregnant. And then okay, now what do we do? And I started talking to the people who do the things, and it really became a way for a lot of people to take their kids trick-or-treating, not door-to-door, especially with the smaller kids. Usually it started out as very much a religious thing. A lot of churches would do it, and it's expanded a lot.
Yeah.
So in the last 13 years, and obviously it happened before that because they didn't just start it for my kid, this has just been growing. And I actually was in Kentucky when this happened, so when he was born. So we come here, and it's a big thing. It's all over the country. If you have a business that targets people that have kids or like kids or kids, it makes sense to go to a fall festival or a church and have a trunk to do that.
Right.
But if you sell booze, that's probably not.
Probably not the place for you. Yeah.
Now that being said, it doesn't mean that you can't also do something. You can sponsor. Let's just say you're a liquor store. Let's just go with that one for a minute. And you have a brick and mortar, and you have a parking lot. You can have an adult trunk or treat.
Yeah.
And have people come out and handing out gift certificates or mixers or
Right.
sushi. I don't know.
So I think it makes absolute sense for places like that. If you have a shop and you have products that you're selling that, especially it's something that like kids would like, and so like the popcorn spot, that would be great for them. To pull up like little sample bags, and then it's already branded and everything, and that's the place that you go whenever you want some more of this when it runs out in your candy bag. You know what I mean? So it makes perfect sense.
I mean, and every adult goes through their kids' candy and like, yeah, this sucks and this is good. I'm like, oh, interesting, popcorn spot. What's that about? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is definitely, if you have something like that, then definitely find a venue to get that to, even if it's just a small local thing like that.
But I think if you're just going to be, if you're a type of business like mine, I'll just use mine as an example, right? So I'm pulling up and I put my trunk out and everything, and we decorate, whatever. Sometimes I'm planning on, here's what I'm planning on doing differently, but I'll tell you what I've done before. So before, just handing out, the Milky Ways and all that other stuff, you know what I mean? I don't brand it, you know what I mean? Because I don't see this, that's an expense to me, and it doesn't make sense for me to brand it because these kids are just going to throw it away and not think twice about it.
Right.
Like my wife was telling me, why don't you just, this is a good idea, why don't you, because sometimes you get promotions from other companies whenever you go to like ribbon cuttings or something like that, and they'll be like, here's a little goodie bag we made for you for showing up here.
There's
and it'll be like
pens and
75 pens, yes. And their business card is like taped to a candy bar.
Right.
And it's like, oh, okay. You do that to a kid, that kid's tearing that card off and it's going straight in the trash. It's never going anywhere. But like Tara was like, why don't you just put your card on the candy and then hand the candy out. And I was like, so these kids can hide? No, they're not. They're going to throw this stuff away. And they're like, yeah, but the parents will see it. And I was like, they're also not going to care. Nobody cares.
Speaking of a parent with kids who has candy, I'm like, trash. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless it's open and I'm like, hey, did you tamper with this? I'm going to call you.
It's like, hey, you gave me a Milky Way just like all these other 75 people that didn't brand their stuff. And it's like, it doesn't make any sense. But like I said, if you make a product that specifically goes with them, or if you do something that's an original idea, like I said, the moving truck, that was a great idea. So you'll remember that moving truck for hosting something like that. So I've been trying to like brainstorm like what's something that can make it different for us, and thinking about bringing a screen in the back, and playing a movie, one scary movie, like Addams Family or something like that. You know what I mean? Something like that going on, while we have not just like the
copyright stuff on that.
Yeah.
You just announced you're going to break the law.
It'll be the Addams Family with one D. Somebody's home movies. So the
Uncle Bob Adams.
Bob Adams. I was thinking about either putting like a cotton candy machine or a popcorn machine, and then just like using our stickers or whatever to bag it or whatever, put it on there. I don't know. That's just like where my mind is. It's a little bit different than what everybody else is.
Brainstorming, or are we?
I'm brainstorming right now. Yes.
So I just had an idea.
Yeah, I know you always do.
Is that a digger? I always wonder sometimes.
That's good. That's why I bring it up, because like I can bring you some dirt, and then you take that dirt and you plant something in it and grow. You know what I mean?
So when you were talking, I started thinking about things that your business could do that would make people go, And you're right, no business card, cups are expensive. There's a lot of things that you want, as a small business, that you want to make an impression, but you also, you have to be budget friendly, and you also want to be on target and on point. How about creating a website and having a green screen and having people come through and get their pictures or get a little video or read us something and then upload it to the website that they have to then go to see their pictures. And that entire website is fully branded. So they got to go to yourbusinesshalloween.com to see these funny pictures, maybe with filters or maybe with some, like, you know, the old-timey people that would, you go to the Western thing and they'd put clothes on you. Well, have a couple of fun hats with, don't forget the Lysol spray, and, you know, have a couple of things where they could do something fun and interactive. And then you hand them a card with the web link or the QR code, and that brings them back to your website to see themselves, because people want to see themselves after the event.
Sure.
And that's entirely in your wheelhouse for marketing, website, web development, social media.
Yeah, I was just thinking in my head, like, how much work this is going to be.
I mean, it depends on how nice you want it. I'm talking like a single flat page with, you know, with a Dropbox
videos,
or something.
the video development is what I'm thinking of. So.
Oh, I mean, it really depends. I mean, it could be just a single shot. I mean, you have to look at, again, time thing. And maybe it's a constant feed. Maybe it's a live feed that they can replay later, and it's just walking past the camera and making a face. I don't know. Just
got you.
Definitely make it user-friendly and easy, but do something that's in your realm that drives people to your website.
Okay.
After the event.
Yes, I've got an idea. Yeah, so, okay. I'm like trying to piece it together how that would work. Yeah, okay.
I mean, it could even be just like a landing page on your existing website.
Yeah. The website, I got that. Yeah. The making it work physically, that's the thing. So like maybe like you said, setting up a green screen and then have a couple of lights behind to set the shadows and all that stuff. And
then maybe have a good feed to a video screen they can look at so they can see themselves being silly.
Yeah.
And then just have like every 30 minutes log up to the website and then they have to click a link and they can go get the video if they want.
Okay. Yeah. Do I have to have them sign anything saying it's okay to take their photo?
If they walk in front of the camera, that's implicit.
So I have to have them sign forms before it?
No. If you take the camera and you're walking around and you're filming them for some... Okay, so here's the law in Arkansas. If you have an expectation of privacy, it's a voyeur law, then it's illegal to film.
Yes.
It is not illegal to film in a public place or to distribute said film in a public place if there's no expectation of privacy.
Yeah.
So it's not... You can advertise by taking a pan of the city. Well, some guy in a red Buick is not going to be able to sue you for having his car in there because he drove his car into a city where there's cameras, and that's all things that can be done. When you're filming, if you're filming people doing a thing, and they don't know they're being filmed, or they don't know why they're being filmed, then you have to get the signed waiver. But if you film people because they walked in front of your camera and they know they're being filmed, and it says, hey, you're being filmed, and they don't have to walk past the camera, it is a choice to walk past the camera, they don't have to, then you have no reason to have to get waivers on everybody.
Good deal. Okay, I'll figure that out then. Thank you. I'll think about that more.
You just make it like a little cubby so that they have to go into the space, and then you say, hey, this is going on the website, and people are going to want to do that. And if they do that, they understand before they even do it what's going to be happening.
Okay.
And it's not unclear that that's going to happen.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. It gives me ideas. Thank you, though. I will I'll flesh that out.
It happened in the moment, so it definitely needs some fleshing.
And then it makes me like my wheels turn and then I get quiet because I'm thinking. Okay, so keeping this thing rolling. That's a great idea.
I think that you should definitely... Now, the biggest thing, be genuine. If you think Halloween sucks, ignore it. It's fine. No one's going to hate you for not celebrating, but they are going to not trust you if you disingenuously do something.
Right.
If you put half a bowl of Easter candy on your front porch, everybody knows.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, that person sucks. So don't do that.
Yeah.
If you love it, love it. And if you don't love it, that's fine. Look to the next holiday or next opportunity. You don't have to be a Scrooge to just say, this isn't my bag, and not do it.
Yeah, for sure. And so, like, even, like I said, the churches and, like, the fall festivals and all this stuff came about because they didn't want to be directly linked to Halloween. But, like, every church, and especially, like, where I live, like, all of them have something going on Halloween night or the day before, Saturday, whatever.
This year it falls on a Monday, so that weekend is going to be packed.
Yeah.
And it's also a good opportunity to build that community if it's your thing.
Well, they have like Wonder Church goes all out, and they do crazy stuff. They've got animal handlers out there that have like the boa constrictors around their necks and all kinds of stuff going on. And so there's like a zoo going on while you're going around getting candy and all that stuff. I will say one more thing about attaching your card to the candy bars. Another reason why I didn't want to do it, besides just expense and time and just it seems like a waste. Is that that too? Is that if you're an individual business and you're just one person? I was telling Tara, I was like, what does that look like when I'm out handing? I'm a stranger and I'm handing children candy bars with my phone number attached to it.
Okay, I wouldn't just put your phone number. Hey.
Well, of course, it looks like a business card, but I was like, it's easy to make a business card. You know what I mean? It was if I was a parent, I'm definitely doing my research before I even contacted you. But I mean,
I would definitely, if you're gonna hand kids candy with your phone number on it,
yes,
put your business name on it too.
Oh yeah,
Maybe
of course,
website,
of course.
QR code. Let that parent needs to be able to go there and think, okay, this isn't a creeper.
Yeah.
But I'm with you in the.
Just one more reason why you need a website and social media and a presence online, and so this is why you need the marketing. It builds up your reputation.
Yes.
Otherwise, you come off as a creeper if you're
People will be looking for your white van.
Yes, exactly. And don't do a trunk or treat with a white van. Handing out candy. Yes.
Come and do my haunted house, little girl.
Nope.
That's red flag there. And that to that point, that's a lot of the reasons that the trunk or treat started, was because people didn't want to send their kids to strangers' houses, and we've gotten to be a society where not everybody knows their neighbors anymore.
Okay.
So going into that event, building community, saying I'm here to support the funness of fall, whatever that is to you.
Yeah.
And my business is sponsoring this. Here's some free stuff for whoever wants it. And you can also, I've seen a lot of them where you go up to the trunk and it's water bottles.
Yeah.
Or coffee. For the adults.
I had a couple. Yeah, I've had some, like last year, like I was telling you, when we were just going around trick-or-treating in my neighborhood. There's one house has a 50-foot skeleton in the front yard, and they keep it there year-round.
Oh, God.
And they just decorate it for every holiday that comes around.
They're my new favorite people. I need your address.
Yeah, they're awesome.
I love that.
I saw some recent footage. I'm on Nextdoor, the app, and somebody said, well, somebody thought that they were going to come over and tip over our skeleton, but they didn't realize that it has an alarm on it. And it's really fortified, and like somebody over there tried to like football tackle it when they were walking by. And it went, woo, 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 woo. Yeah, like I said, it scared the hell out of them, then just ran. I thought that was funny. But no, the 50-foot skeleton stays in their yard year-round. They just dress it up for Easter, whatever is coming around, Christmas. And
again, they're my new BFFs. I got to meet them. They don't know yet. We're friends.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, taking Buddy Bones over there.
They make giant clothes for it and everything. It's crazy. But yeah, so there's them, and then next, pretty close to them is they don't hand out candy. They do a s'mores bar.
Okay.
And so they set out these tables, and on one end they have like a few of the, I don't even know what to call those.
Graham crackers?
Yeah, graham crackers. It's so foreign, I don't know.
That really exotic food. Graham crackers.
Crisp and sugary. No. The little canisters that you light on fire. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, you made me think for the chafing dishes.
Yes. Yeah. So they'll have like several of those.
They have an
sitting out. Yeah.
I started in Tourette's and shouting out things. That's what it is.
There it is. We'll find it. So we'll go down the line. So you start on one end, of course. You grab your graham crackers, and then you grab your marshmallow. You know what I mean? And you roast it. You put it on there. And then they've got like the chocolate and everything else that you can. And they have like crazy stuff you can put on there too, like Fruit Loops and cereal, whatever you want to roll it in if you're a kid, because they want to put disgusting stuff on top of everything. But yeah, I thought that was a really good idea. It's just like, here, build your own s'mores bar right along, and so that's something different that you could absolutely do. I'm really surprised that you haven't brought up what you do pretty much every year.
It's not October yet.
It's not October yet.
I don't have
but
to
I mean,
deal
this
with
is
it
what
until
you do.
October. I hate it. God,
you hate it?
I do.
Why?
I started it as a way as a therapeutic way to deal with my dislike of people and going in the world and interacting with the world. Yeah. And I started with, the kids are like, hey, and then they got excited. They were other people, and it grew, and now it's crazy. But I don't like going into the world, and I don't like talking to the peoples. And
okay.
my experience at a trunk or treat is hurry up.
Yeah.
I'll hold that.
So I was referencing, and this might be tied into that, Buddy Bones. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is why you carry a plastic skeleton around with you.
Yep. Because people scare me.
Because people scare you. But you take him into different businesses and take photos.
I
and be
do.
Like,
he has his own social media presence.
He does.
He has his own website. Well, it hasn't a website yet. I haven't had time.
Yeah.
He has his own socials. He's got his own Facebook. He's got his Instagram. He's got Twitter. I think we picked up, what's the video one? TikTok. He's got on TikTok last year.
Okay.
He gets requests now, and he goes around to the local businesses, and I use my personal desire to help support the community around me.
Yeah.
Is to help people build their business, build marketing, build community. That to me, it gives me purpose, which is one of the reasons that I've branched from just the massage therapy portion of what I do into the CAM Collaborative and allowing more collaboration with other businesses and in the community. So I'll get to go into these different businesses, and Buddy Bones interacts with them.
Yes.
And he promotes them, and I don't ask for any fees. It's just, and they post for the pictures, and I get nothing signed, and they know that's happening. So it's not like it's a thing like that. And so yeah, I do that every year, and I hate it, and it scares me, and I dread it every year, and I'm so glad when it's over. And but he has people love it.
So you started this, and it was fun.
No.
No?
Never fun.
Why did you start it then?
I don't know. It's because therapy's expensive.
Okay. Got you.
It's fun for everyone, and
it is, and they get a little bit of free promotion out of it, and so like they benefit off of it.
And so, people love it. I get people requesting like, "Hey, can Buddy come by this year?"
Yeah.
And people talk to him like he's his own little white person with a personality. People that know me and know I'm doing this.
Yes.
Still talk to him.
Interesting.
And he's just got his own personality. And I very rarely have me in the pictures. It's usually just him or him and other people. And I enjoy doing the marketing part of it, the social marketing. I enjoy doing the community. I enjoy helping people. But the walking in with a 5-foot skeleton, it's like, I got to meditate. I got to get myself in the right space. And like, there's been days, sometimes I'll go out into different places, 5 or 6 different places, and have some that I'll post later.
Yeah.
Because there's some days I wake up, I'm like, I just don't got it.
Okay.
There's no peopling in me today, and it's a rough month for me.
So up until the point that you're about to walk into these businesses and have a 5-foot skeleton,
stage fright,
you're coaching yourself in the car, being like, all right, you can do this.
Yeah. you can do this. It's not nothing. No one's going to murder you. No one's going to. You're not going to jail. It's fine. The worst that can happen is they can say, could you take your skeleton out of here? And everyone I've ever met, mostly, has been very excited. I mean, he's even on the radio.
Yeah. Has he really? I didn't know that.
We went to a place, and someone saw him on socials from a radio station and called and was like, "Hey, can you swing by and come on my show?"
Yeah.
And people love it. It scares the crap out of me.
That's hilarious. Mm-hmm. I did not know all that about this.
I
was like, oh, this is that fun thing that Jessica does every year because she really loves doing this.
No, I love Halloween.
Yeah.
And I love the outcome of what he does, but it is a therapeutic mode for me because it's something that I struggle with.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. I did not know that. But like some people,
dig deep into my psyche there.
Right? There it is. Dig deep. Like some people are very, they're more comfortable speaking through a ventriloquist than they are the ventriloquism doll, rather than speaking outright to a person face to face. Like they can do crazy voices out the side of their mouth, and that's like perfectly comfortable. It's performance, and so like I said, that's all performative emotions that you're having to go through in order to do that. That's amazing. Yeah. Yes. So Buddy came to my first ribbon cutting, and so that's where I first heard about how you retracted. I'm like, all this is like framed in a new perspective now because I remember being at the chamber and we had already cut the ribbon and all the people, pretty much all the people had left already. And you were like, hey, I'm gonna go get my friend. And like you went back to your car. And now I've got this image of you just like sitting like.
I did.
Started breathing exercises.
What helps for me, and this is part of it, in case anyone's trying to do, personal agoraphoric therapy, what helps is I have a purpose.
Yes.
That is my purpose.
Okay.
Getting Buddy's picture is my purpose.
Yes.
And that makes it be less scary. It gives me a purpose to be into the crowd where the peoples are and interact with the peoples because I have a purpose. And it's okay that I have to say, hey, would you mind posing with Buddy? And that's the hard part. That's the hardest part. And then I've never had someone say no. And even people that you would think, like crabby old people, they're like, yeah, sure. And anyways, so that's that. So get over the biggest hump. And then I get to go into focus mode, take the picture. And then I have a purpose. And I'm there where I don't want to be, around the peoples that scare me, with a purpose, so it's okay. Right. And then I get to leave, and they had fun, and I didn't die.
All right.
Score.
You got a little bit more exposure that way, too.
Yeah, I've been doing exposure therapy for 5 or 6 years.
Exposure therapy. I like that. That's hilarious. And it kind of is like that, especially for, like I said, I guess agoraphobia is what you...
agoraphobia is the bigger fear. And I don't think it's quite that bad. But it is, I do get social anxiety for sure.
Are you an introvert? Or?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So that's what I related it to with myself. I was like, okay, I remember like when I was first...
Yeah, I work at being extroverted. I work at being able to talk to people. And I don't mind people, but I don't want them near me.
Yes.
I don't have anxiety getting on a stage and talking. That doesn't bother me.
Right.
I have anxiety sitting in a crowded room next to people I don't know.
Yeah.
Or go in an elevator. My God, please don't talk to me. I might vomit.
That is like the one. Yeah, I've found that too. So I'm naturally an introvert, but like you said, work on it. I can't. I always work on being an extrovert, and I think I've become way more of an extrovert than I ever thought I was ever going to be. But like I can talk to anybody, and like we went to on Tuesday we had the North Little Rock Young Professionals meeting. It was a collaboration with the YP of Little Rock, and we went to the submarine maritime thing, and so lots of people I didn't know, right? So I'm just walking up and making just stupid jokes and remarks and stuff, and that kicks it off. And then when we get to talking about what we do, and then the lady that works there at the submarine, the museum, I don't know, guide, whatever. She usually gives the guides for going through the submarine and all that stuff. And like we were on top of the submarine, and she came over there and was like, "Hey, Ty, can you come over here? We got somebody that doesn't really know anything about the chamber or how any of this works. Could you come talk to her, please?" And I was like, "Okay, I guess." Out of all these people, I'm the person, which is kind of weird because normally I would be like a lot of people that I called out because I pointed out several of them. They would be off in the corners. It's like especially when 2 established groups get together, and then like you've already got your clique that you you talk to. Yes, exactly. And then they've invited other people who have never been to a networking event, period. And then this is already awkward for the ones that usually go for it. But now they're super awkward because they've never been to one, period. And so I made it a point to go around to like all the different corners of the dock and inside the museum part and be like the people that were just like standing alone or shifting around, not really sure what to do, or talking to their one friend. Introducing myself and be like, "Hey, is this your first time?" They were like, "Yeah," and I can tell. Here's what I did. You know what I mean? This is how I got through it, and this is what you need to know.
So what you do, and you know this, but I'm going to use some words that maybe you don't use, is you put that hat on.
Yes.
Or you put that mask on. You're like, okay, I'm Ty King.
Yeah.
Marketing expert. Here's my hat. And you get to step back from your anxiety and be that person because you're putting on a show. You're acting. You're doing the thing. Yep. It's not disingenuous, but you do have to work at it. You have created that persona, and then you go home. You're like, okay, I need the quiet. I need the headphones. I need the guitar. I need to go ahead and decompress. Yeah. So many more people are like that.
It's fun. It's a lot like in high school whenever we would put on plays and productions and that type of thing, and you're playing a character. That's basically what it is. But like you tie a lot of yourself into it because you absolutely have to. You can't just turn your own personality off completely. But yeah, you're like, this is how this person talks, and this is what they would say in this situation, and like you go through that in your mind like rapidly, and like it becomes sort of like jazz. You know what I mean? It's like flows, and I don't know. I enjoy it. Get a certain enjoyment. Oh, I do anyway. I don't know.
People think I'm the most extroverted person on the planet. They think that I'm just all of that. But I have to work at it. I have to work at having, being able to interact.
This is my art. Yes.
To an extent, yeah.
I act like a normal person.
I do. I act like a normal person every day.
Awesome. So the other part I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
And we can keep this shorter if we need to, but it sort of ties into the other. So like where we're talking about, promoting your business during a certain season or a certain, holiday that's coming up. You know what I mean? Everybody's got it on their mind. Oh, okay, October. What do we think of? We're thinking pumpkins and bats and all the Halloween stuff, right? And then people, you will see all the time, marketers sort of like, hey, let's go ahead and get you ready for that Christmas season. And it's like, I do too. That is the most cringiest thing. I hate that almost as much as when people say synergy in their pitch to me. God, it is just awful. But anyways, so anyway, tying into that, yesterday was the first day of Hispanic Heritage Month, right? Today they're having, there's all kinds of festivals that are going on. Like Frida Plaza is going on down here. They got a huge event going on tonight, and like there's several that are going to be popping up over the next month. Our Hispanic population in Little Rock and North Little Rock are obviously still a minority, right? But we're going to have hundreds of people that show up to the 1,000. So
a minority today is hundreds of people. And it's not 5 guys.
But it's not going to be, exactly. So it's not going to be them, though. It's also going to be a lot of other people and businesses. And so, like, whenever you're invited to, same sort of thing. Same with fall festivals and that stuff. If you're invited to be a sponsor of a certain thing, and like, okay, kids aren't my market. You know what I mean? And with this, with Hispanic Heritage Month, it's like, I've had Hispanic clients before. Am I? No. And so it's like, is it
cultural appropriation to celebrate?
Yes, thank you. Exactly.
So I don't believe so. I don't believe that it's cultural appropriation to support any positive event.
Yeah.
If you genuinely support the event.
Sure.
If if you're a closet racist, maybe it's going to come across bad if you start going to all of the minority events. But if you genuinely just think that, hey, this is going to be fun, it's going to be for the people, I want to be there, I want to support it, I want to support the exposure, absolutely. Be a part of that.
Yeah.
Support that. You don't have to be Hispanic to think Hispanic is cool. You don't have to be Hispanic to think Hispanic people are cool. It's okay. It's okay to think that people are cool. Just because, and however they want to identify.
For sure. And so, there's different levels to this, but I think as long as you're being aware of like what culture you're coming from, and that you're coming into a completely new culture,
right? And be, be respectful of if they are a no shoes. It's not Hispanic, but let's say you go to some random festival for something I can't think of, and it's a no shoes culture, and when in Rome. So do your research and make sure that you're being respectful. And you're trying to assimilate, not trying to change them to you, then you can absolutely bring in your widget and support them in the ways that they want to be supported. Sure.
And not trying to be the star of the show. I think that's kind of important too. Not try to come in there and take over. Especially, if that's not your culture, don't try to come in and be like, you want to be the one that speaks throughout this thing, or you want to be the one that has the biggest sponsorship, even though you don't have anybody that's of that culture that's even working for you, or like you don't have a huge client that's that.
It could be an opportunity to find an employee. It could be an opportunity to collaborate with another business. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, as long as you're being an honest, genuine person.
Yeah, for sure.
Back to the beginning of Halloween, it's just be genuine about it.
Yes.
Don't be coming in with
the research part, very important. Yeah, we had a ribbon cutting with it was a supermercado. And they, the guy that was like giving the dedication to the ribbon and all that stuff, he was just like sort of the town of Arkansas citizen, like you said, you know what I mean? And like, it's like, okay, I know. Like to them, everybody that's Hispanic is Mexican because that's just what they grew up knowing.
Biographical understanding of the world.
Exactly. And they'll come out and they think that they know all the words to say, and that's just like their version of Spanglish, but it's like, hola, amigo, thank you for being here. It's like, you're not pronouncing any of the words right or saying anything the right way. So, being don't go out there and be that guy.
I get so twingy. It's not so much, it doesn't actually go all the way to irritation, but it's just like, when you hear someone on TV, a show, or even in person, and they're talking like I am now, and then they say a Spanish word or say some other word in another language, and they just fall into this huge Hispanic or huge French accent or huge, and That's weird.
Yes.
Yeah. You can say hola.
Yeah.
And I'm not have a Hispanic background. I'm
Right.
actually a Pacific Islander, and I don't speak Spanish.
Right.
So me being nice and trying to use your language for you is not cultural appropriation. In my opinion, it's me trying to use your language in your language and not knowing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, that is what I feel like. That's when I feel like you cross the lines. You try to say, I'm just like you. No, I'm not. And I think you're cool, and I'm cool, and we're differently cool, so let's talk about how we can be cool together. That's where I think that your safe spot is.
Yeah. I mean, I studied Spanish for a long time, but I don't call myself an expert whatsoever. You know what I mean? It's like I know how to make basic conversation, but I still sound, even I find when I'm talking to, genuinely, like people that grew up with Spanish, even a child, and like I pronounce some of the things, and like I learned from a textbook. It's like it's pretty evident, and so like even some of the things I pronounce to them, they'll be like, they'll sit there and think about it, and they'll be like, "Oh, you mean yeah?" It's like, okay, yeah, that one. That's what I was trying to say. But I mean, like the basics are pretty easy. But I think it's so the difference between just going out, being yourself in this cultural festival. And being accepting of everybody that's there and being open to
learning.
Yeah, learning, exactly. As opposed to setting up a tent to sell your widget, whatever product it is that you have there, and then everybody on your staff has sombreros on.
Right. That you got at
Walmart. Yeah.
Yesterday.
Yes, exactly. So, little happy price tag on it.
Right. I am Senora Jessica.
Yeah. Hola, amigos. It's like,
I think that's when you start trying to get into it in a false way.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a cute story really fast. When I was in California, I worked at a retailer that sold electronics. It's not really important to the story.
Yeah.
But it was a large sales force. And one of the gentlemen who worked there was, I think he might have been albino. That's an exaggeration, but he had white boy,
okay,
very blonde,
got you,
blue-eyed, just couldn't be any more white if you
nice.
And spoke fluent Spanish. Spent time in Mexico, spoke it accurately, the way you're supposed to, all the things. Very, literally bilingual, or maybe he spoke more languages, but this is the one we're talking about. And then there's this other guy, and looks like he was born and raised in Mexico City and lived there all his life and did all of the things that his heritage is Mexican, is back as far as you can go. Born and raised in LA, never learned Spanish.
Right.
Barely speaks English.
I've got friends like that, and so and we'll go to these networking events and stuff where it's like, Univision was sponsoring one a few weeks ago that we went to, and a couple of my friends were there, and I was just hanging around with them, and we were getting food, and as we were doing that, other people were coming up, and they would just move right into the conversation of introducing themselves in Spanish, and they'd be like, yeah,
got nothing, dude.
Sorry, I'm Ted. Sorry.
And that's the thing, is that I don't consider it cultural appropriation that this little white guy was being the translator and helping people in their language. I don't consider that at all. He wasn't trying to be anything other than he was, and he was good at what he did. Yeah. And so I think that's fine. If you genuinely know the language and you genuinely have the thing, do it. But if you're walking in there like every stereotypical comedy show we've ever seen, with the the Walmart sombreros and fake mustaches and just every stereotype.
Oh my God!
That's probably not a good idea. I'm gonna say that's bad for your business.
Don't do it. Ponchos and stuff. Oh my God!
Just be genuine.
Yeah. Just be yourself. Just try being yourself, but open to learning.
Absolutely.
Yes. That doesn't mean. That reminds me of the people that go to New Orleans for a weekend or something and come back, and then they get that same, they try to mimic that draw or whatever, you know what I mean, or they go to Valencia or something like that and come back, and they're it's Valencia, and they'll correct it, you know what I mean, and every time they pronounce it, it's very on point. That is now my culture because I've been there for a weekend.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
You're
from Benton. Own it.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Well, anything else you wanted to add to this?
Yeah, I think the takeaway is be genuine.
Good. Yes, be genuine. Be genuine, but open to learning. Always learn. That's
absolutely
the key to any like entrepreneurial effort. Period.
100%.
Is don't.
And if you
don't stop.
If you're afraid of networking events, take a skeleton. Works every time.
Take a skeleton. Yes, you can talk through your skeleton if you'd like to. Not your skeleton, but a different skeleton,
Yes.
a plastic one.
Definitely.
Yes.
And don't bring a real one. That would end differently.
Yeah. But it kind of works out because like a massage and like your bones. And stuff
Well, yeah,
like
I
that.
mean,
it would make more sense if
have-
you were a chiropractor, but.
I have skeletons all over, and I leave them year round. And most of them are doing yoga. And then I have the
Oh my God.
You haven't seen them? They're everywhere.
Oh, the little ones on the tables and stuff. Yeah,
Skeletons all over the place. I leave them
got
all
you.
the time. I love them.
What about the dragon?
I love my dragon. I have a huge dragon skeleton. I have a skeleton everything. Buddy
You
Bones
do.
is pets.
Yeah. Okay.
Every year he gets a new pet thing. We got itty bitty kitty bones. We got beagle bones. We've got puggle bones.
Okay.
We've got rat-a-tat bones.
Gotcha.
All the bones.
All the bones. All right. So with that being said, we're not going to go any deeper in the psyche of that, or like what other kind of bones you may have and where they're buried. If you're watching this as a video podcast, you can always catch us on any of the podcast platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, so on and so forth. If you're listening to this as an audio podcast, you can always find us on YouTube.com. Once we have 100 subscribers, we finally get the URL. Found that out. So
Cool.
If we get that,
Please
then
subscribe.
we can be youtube.com/Healthy Business Podcast. But we're not there yet, so just have to search for us.
Or,
Yeah.
isn't there a place they can go on the web that can then click a link to get to the places?
No. So we are.
So part of the growth process.
Yes, part of the growth process, and that's actually on the
To-do list.
Yes, to-do list for this weekend.
Oh, cool.
I'm going to start us a landing page, and we're going to start new socials for Healthy Business Podcast. I've learned a lot since we had the
Podcasting
convention.
event? Yeah.
Learning from them, and like I've gone back and like looking at their content and seeing what they do. And they have their own social, pages that they regularly update. They have their own landing pages, of course, or even like a link tree.
All of the podcasts should be available on the website as well as being pushing out to other platforms.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's of course.
Time-consuming.
So, it is time consuming.
So if you would donate,
there we go.
and pay for
So that's
Kai's
something
time,
else. There we go. That
then we could have all of these things so that you could find us
we
easier.
are. I'm going to start our Patreon page.
Cool.
So we are going to have a Patreon page where you can support us. You can send us money to keep doing this show and even do it better, so we can even continuously. You can fund our efforts in upgrading our equipment every other week. So that would be interesting for
we
you.
also take equipment donations.
Oh, yeah,
so
of course.
if you have a thing that you want us to use, hey,
Yeah.
we'll be happy to talk about it.
Yeah. Also, we're out right now. So last week I was able to be interviewed by the District 3 podcast by Irving Camacho, who was one of our speakers at the podcast convention. We sat right here and recorded last Friday, so it's out today.
Nice.
So
Check
catch
that
that.
out. Yeah,
That's the
excited.
that's the District 3 podcast. So go check them out. And until next time, you want to say bye?
Bye.
And keep your business healthy.